everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse and the LCC Network for our special NFL Draft recap episode. We're basically going to break down kind of what happened, our reaction to the draft and everything. And with me to do that today, I've got Cody and Jameson on the show. How's it going with your weekend, y'all?
My weekend was straight. A little bit of sports never hurts.
Yeah, finally, right?
Uh, yeah, it was fun. It was great to watch the draft. Like Pat mentioned, we're gonna be doing a lot of recapping today. Gonna try to focus on it from a fantasy perspective. Specifically about the LCC, which rookies you might want to look at, avoid, what this might do to the fantasy stock of players who are already in the NFL with rookies that are joining their teams. So, you guys had anything? We don't have any announcements other than that the LCC draft order reveal is going to be May 8th episode, which I think is a couple weeks away at this point.
At least that weekend.
Yeah. Sometime over that weekend. We have it slotted on the 8th on the schedule, but sometime over that weekend. Anything else you guys want to add before we just jump right into the draft recap here?
I'm good.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'll play a sound drop. Here we go. Can you guys hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I couldn't hear it. Hold on one sec. We had a technical glitch. One sec. All right, guys. All right, here we go. Well, we'll jump right into it. Just so you guys are aware, I'm not sure if this is better or worse than last year. We had 6 picks correct, completely correct, both player and team. 6 out of 32. I don't know if that's fantastic, but it is what it is. So 6 out of 32. And then we had a few players that we got right, but wrong teams, and then some things like that. But so we'll start it off here, guys. To look at this from a fantasy perspective for the LCC, who do you think will be, or maybe even should be, either one, the first rookie drafted in the LCC rookie draft this summer?
Cody, you want to go first?
I think that's a tough one. I think there's a lot of people that like the people that are dominant at their positions are the people that it's hard to make a first round pick on, or pick it as the first rookie to make an impact. Like people like Chase Young, they might be the best and they might produce right away, but as a first rookie, are you going to try to take him over maybe per se like a running back, especially seeing how much depth is at running back? At the end of the day, I guess I'm going to go with Clyde.
Yeah, I agree. I think Clyde's a guaranteed first rookie, followed by, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes first because we have some homers in the league, but Isaiah Simmons is another one,
Yeah, you think he'll be second?
The second rookie, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't think he will.
I think there's a good bit of Clemson fans in the league, so I could see some guys like wanting to get him.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
What do you guys think about his fantasy stock in Arizona next to Jordan Hicks? And I guess in the same breath, what do you think about Jordan Hicks now?
I think it definitely devalues both of them to a certain degree. I'm not saying that Hicks can't be a stud linebacker, but I mean I could see him dropping out of like that linebacker 1 territory, like we'd almost guaranteed up until this draft. And same with Simmons, I think that keeps his ceiling kind of low, just because we've kind of seen what Hicks can do now, where he's the dominant linebacker. But now Simmons is going to be hawking some of those tackles away from him. I don't know. I think Simmons, I want to say his ceiling is like low end linebacker 2, and then bottom end probably like LB4 is what I would think. I think it's pretty wide.
I think it can be. I think it absolutely can be. And I guess in the same breath, a very similar situation in Jacksonville, Joe Schobert being the free agent there that was, outstanding last year with the first round pick, Caleb Chase on coming in, I think from LSU. I mean, how do we feel about that? And I ask, maybe even a little bit selfishly, I sent a guy a message in our other league inquiring about Schobert before the draft on Thursday. And then they drafted Caleb in the first round. So now I really don't know how I feel about it, but it is a situation similar to Arizona. I mean, is it kind of the same situation? They're both kind of devalued a little bit.
No, I think Chason's more of a edge rushing, type of linebacker. I think Joe Schobert's gonna be that guy that still tallies up enough tackles.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. He's more of an outside guy. Um, it just kind of depends. I'm guessing they're running a 4-3 in Jacksonville. I haven't looked to see the defense they're going to be using this year, but if it's a 4-3, then I feel pretty good about Joe Schobert in the
Joe
middle.
Schobert. Gotcha. Okay. Um, Joe, just to kind of, I don't mean to keep bouncing around here, but just to kind of shift back to Clyde Edwards player there a little bit. I think that's a fantastic fit in Kansas City. I absolutely agree with you guys. He should be and likely will be the first rookie off the board. I think he'll fit right in there, and that's a very high draft capital there for Andy Reid and the Chiefs. With Damian Williams, I think having 1 year left on his deal, maybe, and it's not a ton of money. They should give him every opportunity to take the starting job there. Uh, you mentioned that you think he'll be the first one off the board. What round do you think somebody puts up for him? So we don't have any keepers this year, but we have 24 teams per round. So it's definitely going to be a little bit different than it has been in the past.
Fourth.
I'm saying
Four?
third.
Say fourth.
Okay. That's kind of where I'm falling, right in between there, like mid to late third, early fourth is
Yeah,
kind of where I think he might go. Um, that's interesting. Would either one of you pay that for him?
potentially. I mean, honestly, if I'm one of those teams who doesn't get one of those stud RB1s and I'm kind of waiting, you know what I mean? If I'm in that position where I see that happening, I definitely will take Clyde Edwards kind of mid to late third round. Just because at that point there's really not going to be that many good running backs left in our draft, I guarantee it. So if, like I said, if you're picking near the back of the draft, it makes sense in the first round at least. It makes sense for you to be considering putting up your third round pick to get a starting running back.
Yeah. Uh,
You
I
know, I like. I don't. I don't mean to interrupt you, but
no, go ahead.
I don't want to overshadow. I think a lot of pub could go to KJ Dobbins as well to the Ravens, and we've already seen it one time where a younger, a little faster running back has overtaken him and left him out to dry. Does KJ
Mark
Dobbins?
Ingram, you mean
Yeah.
like overtaking Mark
Oh,
Ingram? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's already happened to him once. That's why he's in, the Ravens. I'm not saying he's going to take, all the carries, but I could definitely see by season's end, KJ Dobbins getting majority of the touches.
I think that's fair. And was he a third round pick or
Yeah,
second round pick?
second, I think.
I can't remember. Either way, they still paid a day two draft cost for him, and we've seen a lot of successful running backs come out of those day two situations in the last few years. I like that a lot, and you're right. I think Mark Ingram. What's Mark Ingram's deals? Is this his last year before he's a free agent?
I think he's got another year, maybe. I think he
Okay.
signed a 3-year deal to start off with. But I mean, if we want to just hammer in on these rookies for a second, the only ones that really matter are going to end up being the running backs in the first place. And I absolutely hate Jonathan. Not Jonathan. I love Jonathan Taylor where he's at. I hate DeAndre Swift the Lions because
Yeah.
every running back seems to go there and die.
The running backs haven't had the Lions haven't had a running game since Barry Sanders, and I don't think that's going to change. And now it's even worse with um, Kerryon Johnson there. It really just kind of deflates both of their fantasy value. I'm not
Well,
really interested in either one.
I think Swift is definitely the best back that's gone there since, basically this trend has been just, poor backs and, injury riddled backs. It seems like if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Swift, but it it's frightening. It makes you want to back off when you see a team like the Lions with,
Yeah.
such a high quality running back, a guy that you thought going into the draft, hey man, he's gonna fall back into the 20s, the 19s. He's gonna get a decent squad. Well, he ends up dropping back to the second round and arguably going to the worst team.
Yeah.
I really love Jonathan Taylor with the Colts. I don't think Marlon Mack can handle the Taylor show. I don't think he's going to be an obstacle for Taylor. Is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
wow. Okay. No, that's an interesting take. I think that's an important take too, because they have a very similar skill set. Neither one of them are well known for catching passes, and that role's been given to I'm blanking on the running backs in Indy right now. 21.
Oh, you're talking
Uh,
about the guy from NC State.
I'm blanking on his name right now. I don't know why. It's been a long day. But yeah, so similar running styles. So you would take Jonathan Taylor over Marlon Mack then? It sounds like
No doubt. I mean,
in
they
fantasy.
didn't
Yeah.
draft. They didn't draft Jonathan Taylor for no reason in the second round. You don't give up a second round pick for a guy to ride the bench, and especially when it's one of the the whole entire time it was a top three consensus of, and the top three consensus didn't even go first. I just think with when it comes down to it, owners, it just takes one owner. And I literally think Kansas City was probably the only franchise that had Clyde Edwards-Helaire on top of their board just based off of what they run, man. Like,
Yeah.
he fits perfectly, and he just so happened to be, Kansas City happened to be the team that pulled the trigger on a running back first, and it just so happens they're probably the only ones that like Clyde first.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Dobbins, Taylor, um, oh geez, what's his name?
Swift.
Swift, yeah. All I mean, I think they're all better backs. A sneaky one is the one that Pittsburgh got in the fourth round, back wise. I think he's going to get a shot to play, especially because McFadden or McFarland,
Yeah.
Anthony McFarland
Yeah.
Jr. I think he's going to get a decent workload, especially because Connor can't stay healthy. So
Yeah. And here's a sneaky one if we're talking about later round backs. Is the Tampa Bay back Vaughn from Vandy, the pass catching back, that his only
I don't
obstacle
know,
to
man.
playing time is Ronald Jones. That's his only obstacle.
It's just I'm not a big fan yet. And maybe it's because I've seen too many Tampa Bay running backs just crash and burn, especially rookie ones. It's hard for me to buy on that yet.
dude, I
Okay.
liked what he did late in the season though, Jones. And I think, I don't know. That's just me. I thought he really came on near the end of the year. He had some good, a lot of good things going. I thought he was fine. I think if we're talking about a late back, we're talking about Zach Moss, the cat from Utah that went to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean
Yeah,
that
they've
they
got
have
Devin Singletary, and
that's a
that's about it.
committee for sure though,
Yeah,
my God.
but
Yeah.
nobody's like asserted themselves. If he comes in and like handles business, somebody's waiting to take that job.
I thought Devin had a pretty good year last
I was
year,
about to say
outside of the injuries.
I was kind of looking forward to see him again.
Yeah, but once you spend, I mean, I don't know. I know Zach Moss was one of the top seven type of guy running back wise coming out, and he looked really good at Utah. They drafted him in the third round, and Buffalo didn't. Technically, Buffalo's what, second pick, because they didn't have a first round pick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
he's. I mean, he's a talented guy that can definitely
It is interesting though that they
see the
would draft
field.
him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like let's pretend forget whether or not he may be the number one running back there. Just the fact that I mean Singletary had a decent rookie year, all things considered, in the way that offense ran and how many running backs were there. And for them to take a running back where they did, I think that does like over other positions, you have to be wondering like what's their mindset on this? Are they wanting to just build another committee, a better committee, a younger one? or do they really see this guy as a replacement for Devin?
Yeah.
Pat, what about your boy AJ Dillon? AJ Dillon to Green Bay.
Ooh, we jokingly talked about him on and off the show, but I'm telling you, dude, he could be pretty decent there. And the comparison, I don't know if you guys were watching ESPN or NFL Network, which one I was watching ESPN, but the comparison they made was Eddie Lacy. And I was like, I don't know if I like it or not. But Eddie Lacy, though, in his prime, was a good fantasy running back, without a doubt. You know, definitely the guy's going to get the goal line carries and get touchdowns that way. Is he going to, break one off for 60 yards? Probably not. But still, this is a guy I'm kind of excited about. But again, he's going to be in a committee probably in Green Bay. So how serious do you take that?
Especially the first year. I think you really, you look for him next year to maybe take that job, or late this year.
Yeah.
What about so before we get into some of the NFL players or maybe rookies that could be sleepers, any other positions that we're looking at? I mean, I could not imagine a quarterback being drafted in the rookie draft, especially only being allowed to have one. Do what?
Burrow probably gets drafted.
I think Burrow
but that
will.
means that he's the only quarterback for the team.
Amount of weapons. Yeah.
That is true. I didn't even think about that part. Dude, that could have really hurt you.
Have two quarterbacks.
Yeah,
that's your only one.
You only get one.
Yeah.
Rookie.
No. You only get one quarterback. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
24 teams.
Unless he gets hurt. One. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think he gets taken. I think he's top 24 quarterback.
So you think okay. I mean, if he is, then it makes sense to take him for sure.
Yeah, I can we backpedal back to running back, but I do. Yeah. I just want to push this name out here real quick, just because. What do y'all think about maybe this guy has the best opportunity to start from the get-go is Cam Akers going to the Rams?
And
that was fun.
I made a very short draft list for both of our leagues, and he's probably in my top 3 targets in both of our leagues. Yeah,
he's got the best opportunity.
Yep, that's a good call. I completely forgot about him for some reason. But yeah, I mean, see, who's on the board there? Darrell Henderson, and that's about it. And Todd Gurley's gone. So.
God, what a terrible! I just feel like those guys are
no
running
backs.
backs.
Brown?
I don't know if they still have Malcolm Brown or not. I think they did last year when they matched the Lions offer sheet. But how many years was it? I don't remember.
I don't know. I mean, he might still be there, but he's nobody that's gonna stop him from. If he's good enough, he's gonna start.
Yeah.
And it was still a 2nd-round pick, right, for the Rams, or a 3rd-round pick?
It was 2nd round.
Yeah, that's a lot of draft capital.
AJ.
Yeah, that's a lot of draft capital for a running back. Yeah, I like that one. That's a good mention. Okay, no, that's really it. So you think is he in your top 3, Cody? Guys you're targeting?
He's definitely. I mean, I haven't really dove too much into it, and I would, obviously, but I mean, right at the top there right now, yeah, he would definitely have to be. I'd be dumb not to at least put him on the list at this point in time.
Okay. So we talked briefly about quarterbacks. I can't imagine more than Joe Burrow going in the rookie draft, right? Because you're basically saying, I'm not going to get a quarterback in the draft. I'm going with this rookie. No. I'm shocked the Packers.
I was
one game from the Super Bowl.
We have a guy in our other league who's a diehard fan, and immediately I felt like he had to try to defend his team for that pick.
I saw that. I was like, come on, you could just admit that you didn't like it. It's okay,
exactly.
Man. You don't have to defend it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not
many quarterback.
Receiver wise,
go ahead.
Who'd y'all like?
Yeah, that's. I mean, Jerry Jeudy was solid, but I don't really know if I trust Denver's offense. Henry Ruggs, I actually like that fit in Las Vegas there with the Raiders. And I love CeeDee Lamb, but I don't know his fantasy ceiling because they paid Amari Cooper $100 million. And then they've got Michael Gallup there in his 3rd year, I think, who is a solid receiver. So I don't know what the ceiling is for CeeDee Lamb. Receivers don't typically hit as fantasy studs in their first year. So I don't know. I mean, Justin Jefferson and Philly solid, but there's no one that I'm wowed by, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't like any of the. I don't know. I didn't like any of the matchups. Like when certain receivers got drafted to certain teams, I just didn't like it. I kind of cringed a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
I
actually like
once
Jerry
I
Judy to
saw.
Denver, not as from a fantasy perspective, but as a football perspective. I think he's gonna be very good there.
Yeah, they. I mean, they got what three like targets because didn't they draft another tight
Yeah.
end?
KJ Hamler in the second round. They drafted a
Oh, that was
receiver.
another receiver, and then I think they went and got like a really good tight end, like a
Yeah.
decent tight end too. Later in
They
the
just
draft,
drafted
one that was
Noah
pretty
Fant
fast.
last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they got somebody that's pretty fast too in this draft. I forget who it was. But no, well, Jerry. The only thing wrong with Jerry is you go and get that other guy from Penn State, and then you already have Sutton. My worry this Jerry Judy pick along with the Penn State guy Hamler and the tight end, it gets me super excited to see what maybe Drew Lock can do. But it also gets me super bummed for the ceiling of Jerry Judy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I agree. I think even if the offense even if they play solid and win games, I don't know what his ceiling looks like there.
Yeah.
I said Justin Jefferson earlier. I said Philly. I meant to say Minnesota. I don't love any of the receivers in Minnesota with Kirk Cousins throwing the ball.
I mean,
They say what they want to run the
put
ball.
numbers.
So do what?
They always have seemed to have two guys putting up numbers though, so maybe he's that second guy now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll see how it goes. Do you guys like Adam Thielen more with a rookie receiver on the other side, or
Yeah.
less, or
I
does
like
it
him
really matter?
more.
I don't like him
You
at
got
all. I don't like him. I like him less. Because I
okay.
think he's gonna get doubled like a mug. You couldn't have doubled him with Diggs.
I guess that's
I'm
true.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah.
double him. That makes me like
Well,
Justin Jefferson as the best first round receiver in terms of opportunity and uh, look. You know what the coverages he's going to be facing. You know it's going to be like Juju sitting with Antonio Brown. Like
I don't know though. I will say this. Now that I think about it, if you try to double team him though, you're probably leaving yourself susceptible to them eating you alive with that run game, going up the middle and stuff. And that is one thing they will pound the rock on you, Minnesota. So
yeah, I'm just saying you'll put 8 in the box, but you'll still double bracket the top over the top with a safety.
no, I mean,
I think
I think they'll try, but like I said, I just don't. I think you're putting yourself.
I mean, he's still gonna get his. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of do I like Diggs on the other side? Do I see his numbers going up? No, I do not. Do I see his numbers possibly going down? Yes, I do. Do I see Jefferson having the best rookie year of all the receivers based off the situation in the first round? Yes, I do.
I think it's fair to have caution with Adam Thielen, and I think it's fair to have optimism as well.
Yeah.
I mean, my opinion, I think I'm a little more cautious with Thielen this year, but they did lose their offensive coordinator to Cleveland last year, Stefanski, I believe, who was kind of grinding the ball. So maybe they do throw a little more. I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. Any defensive players that you guys are excited about besides Isaiah Simmons? I mean, Patrick Queen ended up in Baltimore
Yes.
where we had him. I love that fit.
Yeah, that's a
Um,
solid, and that's like
What
one of
about
those ones that
Chin?
I got sitting up there as like a possible. That's a high one on the list. I do love
yeah.
Chin. I was gonna point him out too.
Yes, dude. Chin is a guy who is going to be very sneakily good. I mean, I don't. I just made up a word, but he is a guy that's in a position. He's replacing Eric Reed. Our DBs. Oh my God! Like, if we're not getting pressure on the quarterback, watch out because it's going to be an ugly game for Carolina. So I think he could be busy back there. And dude, he's almost the size of an outside linebacker. I mean, he's at 220 right now, coming out of the combine. So will he be playing the box? I could definitely see that happening.
Okay. Well, I'm sure he'll get. You think he'll get drafted in the LCC?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. We're
Not
with all the Pants fans.
Chin will get drafted.
you think?
No doubt in my mind. Yeah, absolutely.
I do think some people are gonna.
I
Yeah,
think
maybe you're
Xavier,
right. Maybe you're right.
I think Xavier McKinney and Kyler Duggar have a shot.
What'd you say?
You said Xavier McKinney?
Yeah, and Kyler Duggar, along with Delpit. Basically all those safeties that dropped into the second round, I think have a shot to be drafted.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a longer shot, but I think it's possible. Where did McKinney end up, by the way? I don't remember.
He went to New York, the Giants.
Oh, that's right, the Giants. Okay, gotcha. So he probably plays over uh, Julian Love, then in that role. Yeah, so I mean, he absolutely could start next to Jabril Peppers, possibly. Um, okay, Delpit's in Cleveland, right?
Yeah,
Demarius Randall left. Okay, I'd have to look at the depth charts. I don't know who all these teams might have signed or who all
Kyler
these
Duggar
guys.
went to
But
the Patriots.
yeah,
He's
Patriots,
another.
yeah.
Patriot. Speaking of the Patriots, Kenneth Murray, the linebacker. Or not that they sorry the Patriots trade that pick away to the Chargers. I mean, you guys looking at him at all
I
as
don't
a
like
starting?
him. I
No.
don't like him. I'm gonna stay away
Okay.
from him personally. Me personally, I'm just
Okay.
not a huge fan of him.
So, and I think it's important to remember too that Patrick, did it pass that we have less picks you can put in this year? Is there a pick limit?
You know,
I do not
I
remember
will have to check that out.
I'll
Yeah, I'll
probably
look it
only,
up.
because
I'll look it up real quick. Hang on.
I'll probably put like 3 in.
Yeah,
that
I mean the
changes the
rosters are
dynamic
so
too.
small. Like even if there isn't a limit, I mean you should be limiting yourself. You know what I mean in terms of what you're actually
Yeah.
going to draft because that you could get really screwed over
I'll probably
Yeah.
take as high as 2 rooks.
as high as two. Yeah, I think at most I would get 2 rookies. I mean that. Hang on, let me go see if while you guys are doing that.
Yeah,
I can
you're right. You
pull it
can't
up.
draft 7 rookies anymore with a 13-man roster.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't pull an
with a-
Isaac anymore. It's otherwise you might be losing some games. But it could pay off in the long run, I guess, you know.
Oh, I don't
I
know.
think there's a ton of guys that can bust out. It's gonna be hard pinpointing where to.
Let's see.
Yeah, it's. I mean, even if every person only targets one, which is reasonable, that's 24 rookies that could be off the board, right? Um, I think it might be pretty deep this year, even if it is just a product of having the rosters and rules changed. But um,
All right, hang on. I'm going to the polls.
all right, I'll wait for Pat before we move. So really quickly before we kind of finish everything up here, we've talked some about the sleepers, breakouts. We talked a little bit about some of the NFL players, the veterans. But I'd like to maybe see if there's any more we haven't talked about. I mean, we've mentioned Thielen, we've mentioned Marlon Mack. Are there any other NFL players who had a rookie drafted to their team that concerns you? I mean, we talked a little bit about Jordan Hicks and Joe Schobert. We mentioned Amari Cooper. I mean, are there any other players that stand out that stock might have went up or down after the draft? Veterans
Yeah, Matt Berea or Beretta.
to the Dolphins.
Yeah, I like that.
They're slowly building a solid team there in Miami.
Yeah, I like what they've done. I think his stock went up. He's going to be splitting carries with Howard, but I think he gets the majority of those. I think he's a very capable back. I mean, he had averaged about 5.4 a game last year, per
Yeah,
carry.
he's absolutely solid.
But and they gave up a 5th-round pick. What can you? I mean, value crazy. Also, Trent Williams going
to the Niners.
Yeah, big.
Yeah.
The Niners seemed like they were the only ones moving players.
Okay.
Yeah, they were trading and they were moving around in the draft.
Sorry about that. So I found it. I had to scroll. I was almost at the bottom. So no, there is no limit in how many you can put in there. So, which I kind of like, I guess. If you want to be dumb and just draft nothing but rookies, go at it, man. I don't want to hold you back. I want you to go do that.
Okay.
So,
So So it will be different, but not from a product of the actual limit. Just the kind of the roster changes and things like that, and what you may or may not see in the
Yeah,
rookie draft.
I think people are naturally they're going to limit themselves to how many they actually draft. Like I said, you would be crazy to do like 4 rookies. I mean, where almost half your roster is rookies. That'd be crazy.
And I can't remember. Do we have to keep them, or is that not even specified in the rules?
That's not specified.
Let's
Okay.
see. I
Not specified.
think. Hang on, I'm trying to find this.
'Cause I don't remember if that was. There were a lot of proposals, so I don't remember
There's like
what
a
off the top of my
ton of
head what
rule,
might
dude.
have
I had to
changed.
scroll forever to get to this. Oh yeah, I just saw the waiver wire time. Dude, it got moved to 6 p.m. Eastern time. That's gonna be fun.
Oh, freaking hate that.
Cody, what are you gonna do about the waiver wire now that I'm thinking about that? Because you work pretty late most days.
I just
Just gonna have
take
to.
off.
You just gotta take a bathroom break.
I mean, I can take off whenever I want.
I'll have
No.
to. I don't know. This is taking me
No,
forever to find this right now. I think. I
It's
think if
fine. We'll
you,
figure it
yeah,
out off the show.
I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll post in the
All
group
right.
chat or something. There's a lot of
Any other
rules on
players,
here.
guys? Anyone else? I mean, like, since he drafted, I mean, Blake Martinez, the Giants didn't draft any high linebackers, at least in the first couple of rounds. So I think that really solidifies his place in that defense there. AJ Green, not that I think anyone really wants AJ Green anymore, but the Bengals drafted some weapons in the first 3 rounds.
Poor AJ Green.
Yeah, well, he is like 95 years old or something like that at this point. I
His
can't
health
remember.
is at least.
He feels that way.
Yeah.
He feels that way. Anything else before you guys want to mention before we get off? I don't know how
Yeah.
long we've been with it.
I'll mention Logan Wilson, that kid from Wyoming, got drafted by the Bengals in the 3rd round. I know he
Okay.
had some buzz at the Senior Bowl, and that's why. I mean, that's
Okay.
why he threw up some. I know, if I'm not mistaken, the Bengals were the coach for his team, so I think that's where that relationship kind of started and helped. So I think
Okay.
he's somebody
All right.
that can. Him and that Zach Bond from that
Yes.
got drafted. Yeah.
Dude, oh my god, I'm excited about
Where
him.
did Zach Bond end up? Where did he end up?
The Saints in the 3rd round.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We had him in the first, he went all the way to the 3rd. I guess, is he playing next to Demario Davis then?
I guess we're about to find out.
I
Like
guess he will.
his stock crashed, man, in the draft, but that is a guy who could be pretty good.
Hey,
Okay.
also somebody to get Hitchens out is that William Gay Jr. Mississippi
I
State.
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was cooking out and I happened to see that and I couldn't help but just start cackling. And my wife was like, "What's so funny?" And I was like, "The Chiefs drafted a linebacker, thank God!" And she didn't know why. I was so happy about that. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, before we get off, give me your offensive and defensive.
I'm the rookie of the year. I'm the rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year. Who do you think it's going to be?
I'm gonna go with Clyde Edwards as offensive. That's who I've got there, and I think defensive. I'm gonna go with. Hang on, I'm just kind of scrolling through here. I don't think Isaiah Simmons will get it. Honestly, I think he'll go pretty early, but I don't think he's gonna put out those numbers in Arizona. I might go with Zach. Honestly, as crazy as
Zach
that,
Bond,
it might.
New Orleans?
I might go there, actually. I might. No. Take that back. The guy for Baltimore.
Patrick Queen.
Yeah, Patrick Queen. I forgot his name. Yep, that's my defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I was gonna go
Okay.
with Queen, but now I'm not going with Queen. I'm just gonna go with
Yeah, man, both of you. I was going with Queen, and then I was going to go to Chase Young, and now you've taken that. I'm just going to say either one of them will be the defensive rookie of the year. And offense, I really don't know. I don't think it'll be Clyde, even though I think he'll have a great season. It usually is quarterbacks. So you know what? I'm going to say Tua. I think Tua plays. He starts. He wins enough games. I'm going to say Tua is offensive rookie of the year.
I'm gonna go with Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. I'll play us out here, and we'll be back next week. Pat, do you remember what next week is?
Next week is like a free ball episode.
Oh, sweet. So
Yeah.
we'll just chat. If you guys have any topics you want us to talk about, anything you want us to relay to other owners in the league, let us know. Put it in a group chat, comment on the video, either one of those things, let us know. And we'll do that. But we will see you next week.